What's up, guys? Well, it's a new day and doing something different in the garage today again. The Supra's over there, parked next to the old Lexus Daily, the Cressida project that I don't have the money to do right now. But garage is all cleaned up. My dad went for a couple rides in the 1J Supra and decided he's a big 1J guy. So he bought a 87, I think. FC Rx7 with a 1JZ swap, the non-VVT twin turbo. So we're gonna bring it in the garage today, do some suspension work, and see what we can make it look like. He hears the sirens. He's probably about to start. Oh, big siren. Is he a big siren dog? Oh. So I think the first thing we'll do when he gets here, I already have the scales kind of laid out so he could pull in, and then we'll put it up on the scales, kind of get a base measurement of just the weight distribution now and everything. It's stock suspension, but we're going to be putting it on coilovers and doing rear subframe bushings with the pivots and all the silly FC stuff. But yeah, so we'll get a base. We'll set it on the scales, get a base weight and what's the word? Distribution, front and back weight, left and right weight, and then we'll see if we make it better or about the same with the coilovers, because we'll have that little bit of adjustment to play with. So yeah, once he rolls up, I think I'll just have him pull right into the garage. I'll move the scales and ramps where they need to be. So we'll just pull right up on and we'll get a base weight. Boosting, I hear him rolling up. There he is. Boost is confused. It sounds like the Supra, but it's not. Who is that, Boost? Who is that?
I know, let the games begin, huh? Let the games begin.
Did you knock that out of your hand?
Apparently he wasn't getting enough loving yet.
So as you can see, we got the car in and on the scales, and even with the big JZ versus the rotary, it's still a light car. 2750, can't be upset with that. So this is just a sped up clip of us dropping the subframe down. Didn't record audio in person for this because it was just me and my dad hanging out, working on cars, hanging out together. So I'm just going to do a voiceover for most of this probably and see how it goes.
I know you were looking forward to another build, but I really appreciate you helping me do all of this.
Yeah. So as you can see, we got the diff out of the rear subframe, and right now we're just air hammering out the stubs of the axles that go through the hubs, so we can get all that cleared out and lightened up and ready to do the rest of it. And then here we just got the rotors off, and we were looking at the best way of going about doing everything with all the bushing, so we decided the next step was to pull the knuckles off and have those separate so we could do the bushings and wheel bearings in the knuckle itself, and also just have that off so we can get the trailing arms off easier to do all that work too. So as per usual with most of my videos, I wasn't very on top of hitting record and setting up the camera. So in this next clip, you'll see we have a lot of the bushings air hammered out of the rear subframe and the trailing arms off. The diff is out of it here and it's draining. You can see the new solid bushings in the diff mount. I did cut a little square out of some flat steel to actually put into the spider gears to give something to weld the spiders, the top and bottom and side gears all to. That way you just have that extra bit of strength in there for welding instead of just welding all the corners of the spider gears. Obviously I did that as well. And then you'll see I have the stub shafts in here and I smack them in and out a couple times throughout all this just to make sure, you know, like some slag or some extra splatter didn't go in there, and I'm not just about to weld the stub shafts into the carrier and get them stuck. So that's what I'm doing here. This next clip I will keep the volume in because my dog is howling.
I'll do it if I rev the Supra too.
And then here I'm just using the bandsaw to cut that angle that I was talking about that I had actually welded into the first one. I just forgot to record me doing it, so I did it on the second one too. So this way the spider gears are fully boxed in on both sides and nice and strong, ready to go. So here you can see me just holding the magnet. I'm just holding that plate so it doesn't go too far in and block the stub shafts. And it just sits where I need it to sit so I can tack it in place and then just get ready to weld it in solid. And I didn't show it a whole lot, but I did preheat it. Here I am preheating it a lot more. But you just really want all the thick steel in there to be nice and warm before you weld it so the weld actually sticks and you can trust your welds to hold. Then once you feel good about the heat that you put in it, you can go ahead and just start welding it solid. Try to avoid splatter and stuff on the ring gear. If you do get a little bit on there, you'll see I do get a little bit on there. But just try and clean it off as best you could. I used a file and just very lightly. It came off pretty well because I kind of kept a little bit of oil on the ring gear, which is, you know, a pretty good idea, but it happens. But everything turns smooth, everything's happy. And then of course here is the finished result. The plate you can see welded in there, you can see the weld going up through the corners of the top and side gears, and it's stout. Now here's the rear subframe all put back together. You can see the solid knuckle bushings, the active toe delete, solid subframe bushings, the ball style bushings for the trailing arms, the adjustable toe links, and the camber drop links there. Unfortunately, I missed us fighting the subframe back into the car, so the next clip is of the next day. But here's the subframe again, all wiped down and cleaned up. Alright, a little update. Did some videoing yesterday. I'm not sure if I'll just voice it over or what we're going to do there. But the rear of the car is done. Later this afternoon, Dad's going to come back over. We're going to do his front coilovers and sway bar links. We got the PBMs in the box here. But yesterday was a big change for this car. So we got all the PBM solid bushings and pivot bushings up front, the adjuster rods, PBM coilovers in the rear, I took apart the diff and welded it. We got to add some fluid to that. But yeah, this thing it's going to be a whole different car now. The coilovers came with the car actually in boxes, and they're apparently the super lows because that's as much droop as we have. But I think it's going to be cool. He's a little bit worried about it, but he's also old. So, but yeah, the 1J up here is just a stock twin non-VVT 1J W58 trans. Pretty simple little setup. It's running on a stock ECU, just using an running the stock ECU using a wiring specialties harness to tie everything in, excuse me. And yeah, so a little bit to do here, just as far as clean up and leaks and stuff, make it look a little better. But for the most part, this is a really solid car. It's really straight, really good condition. Needs a mirror. He really wants some new door trim. So if any of you happen to have a mirror and door trim, and either you're already in Alaska or you're willing to ship to Alaska, let me know. Let's work something out. But yeah, this is a really sweet car. I'm really looking forward to doing the front suspension and setting it on the ground. Not sure what he's gonna do for wheels yet. We tested a few of mine yesterday and kind of got an idea for what offset he might need, but obviously it's gonna change now that it's kind of dumped. Yeah, when he comes back over today, I'll try and record us doing the front coilovers and sway bar links at the same time, and then we'll adjust ride height, probably rescale it just to make sure it's not all corner wonky and stuff, and then go from there. So now you can see my dad's up there working on the front end. I actually had to get back under the rear end. I had forgotten to put the wheel bearing inner dust seals on. I saw them sitting on the counter, so I took the rear knuckles back off and then pounded those seals in. My dad's up there working on the front coilovers, installing them. You'll see him grind the knuckles a little bit because there's a little bit of cast that protrudes a little bit. Then we had to go to make a run to the hardware store just to grab some more bolts and stuff. But all in all, the front went pretty straightforward, as one would expect. So now we got the car set back on the ground, and you can see us measuring each corner. We had already kind of set the rear before I had started recording, so now we're just adjusting the front, see how much turn it takes to raise it or lower it, however much. And you'll see us do this a couple times just to really make sure we get the ride height even. We're kind of perfectionists when it comes to this stuff. The Legend cars kind of got us to that point because we found out every little bit of adjustment matters. You know, every little quarter turn makes a difference. So yeah, here we're just setting the ride height, getting it ready to set it on scales and see if we need to adjust for anything goofy as far as like side-to-side distribution and cross weight. Obviously on a street car, turning both ways, you're gonna want your cross weight 50. It's not like a oval track car where you can either want to tighten it up or loosen it up on the left turns. It's turning both directions. So we played with that for a little while and eventually got it where we wanted it so we could put it on scales.
Maybe roll your back just
So now you can see we have the car up on scales and our numbers are a little bit wonky across the board. So we're just going to adjust that and see what we can do. So now that we have an idea of what our numbers are and what we want to adjust, we're trying to get the cross back down to 50. So I'm going to adjust the rears, one side separate from the other side. And then we set it down, and from that point we read the scales again and see that we did make the change in the right direction. But now we also need to adjust the front to continue on going the direction we went with the cross, but also just to keep everything level. Because if you just twist the rear, then obviously your ride height's going to be a little bit off and everything like that. So now we just even out the front to make it look like we want it to. And we set it back down. Have a little oopsie, it rolls off the scales. But from that point, we know the suspension's settled, so we just get it back up on scales and then we see where we're at there. So now with the car back up on scales, we look at the numbers and we're very happy with it. Side to side on the corners is very good, and our cross is 50. This is arguably the best part about finishing a suspension project like this, is just getting to roll it out and look at it. This thing looks so much better than it did on the stock suspension. These cars just need to be this level of low, and we're really happy with it. So after this, we just test drive. And that's a job done right there. Alright, well, that was one way to spend a weekend. That thing handles so good. Just so perfect. Just kick sideways so easy. It definitely needs an angle kit. I'm definitely too used to my car that actually has one. I definitely looped that thing twice in the parking lot, but slides around about money. All right, well, thanks for watching this video if you did, and like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think about the clean 1JZGTE Rx7. Thing handles amazing. I'm super happy. Dad's super happy. Have a good night.